Hey there, Steve Gamache for Chef Knives to Go, and we have a quick look product review, and this time we are looking at the Hinokuni Shirogami or white number 1 Santoku 210mm knife. Not too many 210 Santoku, so this is a fairly large blade. The characteristics of this line of knives, they are not skinny minis. So you've got the thin little laser type knives, and you got knives with meat on them that are going to have still surprising performance, and this falls into that category. So there's a lot of different types of knives out there for different characteristics and different things that people might want to try or even cater to their preferences. So this definitely leans towards one end of the spectrum. The way this is constructed is it's got all reactive materials. So the core steel you can see peeking out there from the cladding running down the middle is Shirogami or white paper number 2, reactive high carbon steel. Heat treats about 61 Rockwell on that core steel. Almost nothing sharpens as easy as Shirogami number 1 or number 2. So this knife will be so easy to sharpen, it'll make you feel like a champ. Edge retention isn't absolutely fabulous, but it's so easy to sharpen, you will not care. Trust me. The cladding is classic soft iron construction on either side, 3-layer construction. This has a lacquer finish on it for protection just to get started, but it's got what's known as a Kudauchi or KU kind of blacksmith protective finish on it. It's fairly smooth. It's kind of deceptively smooth because we've got a lacquer finish on this all the way down to the edge. Food safe lacquer, and that'll start to wear off as you use it, but you've got really kind of nice combination of materials, very classic knife materials. The weight and dimensions can vary a little bit from knife to knife. Again, this is a fairly thick, meaty blade, so it's 212 grams on the weight, or 7.5 ounces. Edge length, right about 214 or 8.4 inches, so it's a good sized knife. The a little goop there in the back. The overall length is about 353 millimeters or 13.9 inches. Again, these are pretty meaty blades, so fairly thick coming out of the handle. Above the back of the blade, the heel there, I got about 3.4 millimeters, and then it thins down, and I got about 2.7, and it pretty much holds that. You can see it ain't thin, so it's stiff, got a lot of meat to it. Here's the grind. And then you can see it really does get pretty thin at that edge. Or at that tip, I should say. So that tip's quite thin. So yes, it's kind of muscular, but they've also got a pretty good performance grind on this at the edge and at the tip. Our camera cooperates. So that's pretty thin at the edge, folks. It's got meat behind it pretty quickly, but it's going to be thin. So this will be a good, I'll call it muscular type performer. It's got some weight to it, but the actual grind towards the edge is really done nicely. It's very good fit and finish on these. It's well made, and the value is very high on these. So this would be an interesting combination of performance plus heft and stiffness. So unusual, but interesting combination. 53 millimeters at the heel, so it's quite tall. And you can see you got your choil back here. Not a full spot there for your finger, but you can get your finger in there at the neck. So loads of ground clearance, not a problem there. Handles are fairly light. This is an oval cherry handle with just a resin or plastic ferrule kind of popped over the top. You're going to have a little step here. That's just the style of handle. It's not that big a deal, but it is there. This needs a little bit of sealing, so you'll see some gaps there where the tang goes in. You'll need to seal that up with something since it's reactive, especially beeswax, epoxy, silicone caulk, whatever your fancy is, you can seal that up so it's tight, watertight. Let's see, balance point is going to be pretty far forward because that handle's light and it's a heavy blade. So here's your balance point way up there. You're going to have a pinch grip behind that balance point, so this is going to be blade heavy, almost like a good Nikiri. So this will give you some chopping power for sure. Fit and finish, as I mentioned, is nice. They've got a nice rounded spine, nice rounded choil. Out the box edge, 5, maybe 6 out of 10, but it does have lacquer on it, so probably want to touch that up a little bit right off the bat to kind of get that lacquer off that edge. And let's take a look at the cutting board profile. Here is the cutting board profile. It's actually a very nice kind of middle of the road edge profile. The craftsmanship on this is good. The grinds are clean, nice straight blade. It's rustic, but it's really nicely made. Here is the cutting board profile. It is pretty flat at the back, gonna boom right into the heel. That's 40%, 30% back there is nice and flat. It's got that sheep's foot tip on it like a Santoku is known for, but I can still get pretty far up there and rock this. So I could rock this no problem over kind of medium, small stuff, no problem. You can do tip draws with it, not a problem. Again, a nice flat section towards the back. So pretty versatile. And I forgot to do the whole beauty shot and up close, so let's do that. So here's our beauty shot. So here's your cladding. It's fairly smooth. You got some little texture to it. I don't know, I don't want to call them pits, but just kind of a light Nishichi texture to it and fairly smooth finish to it. Again, it does have lacquer, which makes it a little smoother, but there's some embossed kanji. Here's your grind, and then here's your cladding giving way. Here's your core steel. So you can see that core steel there. It's pretty thin at the edge. Pretty generous. Here's your left side of the blade. Again, nice fit and finish. These are pretty cool. Very interesting. So this is the Hinokuni Shirogami, our white #1, Santoku, 210mm knife from Chef Knives to Go.